He should be here, no?
So please bear with us for 1 minute.
No problem. No problem. Go ahead. I'll be delighted
He
to
wanted
see
to
him.
wish you.
Sir is
No,
here.
no, I'm delighted to see
Yeah,
him
he's a
here.
big fan of yours.
Namaskar, how are you?
We have
Good to see you.
Sir, the
Good to see you
youngest man
again.
on the planet.
Wow.
youngest of the youngest. Nobody can
Absolutely.
be like Professor Mohammed Yunus. I have been
Thank
your
you.
fan from 92 onwards, and one from Oxford, no, Fulbright scholar going to Bangladesh, going outside the university and meeting a lady with a water and with no dresses, and he immediately changes what am I teaching in the classroom, and that is the legendary. I think there can on the planet it cannot be another person like Mohammed Yunus. I want each and every participant to listen to every word of his. Every word is an encyclopedia of Dr. Professor Mohammed Yunus. And you should all take the motivation from this young man. All of you are present here will be still older than him.
Absolutely.
When it comes to ideas, at young, at 80, he is the most highest thinker and a legendary on the planet. And because of Mohammed Yunus, I started Jain College. And today I am here only because of that legend. Only because of Professor Mohammed Yunus. I read in the chicken soup of the school, I read his stories.
Yes.
And that is where I started the college. And today, if I have grown, it is only because of Professor Mohammed Yunus. I had the honor of meeting him in Windsor, in the ITC hotel last year. And I have taken up the social movement with him. And Mohammed Yunus is part of Jain University. But I am still in that energy and charge that day I met him live. Even today, I'm not able to come out of that trance what I have been. And that is Professor Mohammed Yunus for me. In my opening talk, I spoke to all of you about Professor Mohammed Yunus, how he started with just giving 6 rupees loan to a lady to create 2 stools. And today, 6.5 billion women entrepreneurs and microfinance, $33 billion legend. Forget about Nobel Prize, but the impact he has created in the lives of people. I was speaking to you all about solopreneurship, and this man has created millions of entrepreneurs on the planet. If today there are microfinance word itself across the world self-help groups, it is Professor Mohammed Yunus. So he is going to be eternity, his bodily and soul, and God will give him a life to live for 140 years like Ikigai or Japanese. And I want Professor Mohammed Yunus to live for another 50 years to create 6 million more solopreneurs on his lifetime, and which he is doing already. So I don't want to see, he doesn't like praises, but then I am telling it is because I have told Professor Mohammed Yunus on his birthday last month that I am your first fan and there cannot be second person fan. So Chainraj will be the first fan for Professor Mohammed Yunus. It's a momentous occasion for us, Professor Mohammed Yunus. It's an honor for us. And the youngest person is in front of me. So my life has increased another 20 years by looking at you today. So live, I'm going to call you to Bangalore. We'll meet again. And your mission of Bangladesh of 6 million more solopreneurs of $1 million each solopreneur, and all the people who are participant here, my own students of Jain University, and all the people who are just waiting for you to listen to you. More than 1 lakh of people are going to listen to you today, especially Jain University students. Each of them are a solopreneur, and they're all going to become very good leaders in their life. And your 1 hour of talk, it will be like a Gita Gyan, it may be a prophet Bible, it can be everything. But this is where I think I came running from 20 kilometers just to connect with you, and I reached on time. I'm very lucky to have a divine soul in Professor Mohammed Yunus. Words Raj Singh can understand that the kind of energy and excitement what I have got by seeing him itself. If I get so much of energy, imagine you'll all get charged, and you need not even charge your battery for another 60 years after his talk. I assure you that. And that is a man where you'll have to take a role model, leaf out of his book. And even if you can do 1% of Professor Mohammed Yunus, you'll be the most successful person on the planet. And that's Professor Mohammed Yunus, one among the 800 crore population on the planet, and there cannot be another alternative Professor Mohammed Yunus. That is my conviction, my belief, and my confidence. And thank you, sir, and namaskar.
Thank you.
So I would be here to listen to you, to develop my more energy today listening to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chainraj sir. Thank you, Chainraj sir. What a delight it is to get to see our inspiration become the keynote speaker for today's session. Chainraj sir, your presence has added more charm and meaning to us today's session. Ladies and gentlemen, there's an important announcement. After Professor Mohammed Yunus speaks, there will be a very small Q&A session. kindly drop in your questions in the Q&A box. I am happy to see already questions are pouring in. We will take them after the talk. Without any further ado, sir, our ears are waiting to listen to you. Over to you,
Yunus
sir.
can talk for 24 hours non-stop.
Thank you. Thank you
Stop.
so much. So
Without a
wonderful
sleep.
wonderful to hear you, all the exciting remarks that you made. And I'm delighted to be with you again. I remember meeting you in Bangalore and talking about the things that we can do together. And thank you for organizing this session. And I'm very happy to meet your students and faculty and yourself. And you created a Yunus Social Business Center in your university. And that has a permanent friendship between us and the continuous relationship that we built with that. So what I'll do, I'll make a few remarks at the beginning and then open the floor for the question and answer. And you have raised this whole issue of microcredit. I was not thinking about going into microcredit today, but since you raised it, the one point I would like to underline in the whole thing, I had no intention of making microcredit. I had no plan. I had no dream, no thought about becoming a banker of any kind. Banking was not in my mind ever since I was born. I never thought I will go into that direction. It was something never attracted me. But accidentally, I was pushed into that situation. Circumstances pushed me into that direction. So the reason I'm saying that you don't have to plan everything just because you plan and you go and do it. That's true. You need that planning, but circumstances can push you into direction which you never expect, never thought that you'll go into that direction and make a tremendous journey through that road. And this is what happened with lending money for me. I was a university teacher, and but under extreme circumstances of famine in the country, in Bangladesh in 1974. And I was totally frustrated that I teach something which has no meaning in the life of the poor people, because I cannot touch the life of any poor people. They are hungry, they are approaching death every day because of the hunger, because of the non-availability of food for them. And here I am, I can't do anything. And my subject that I teach, economics, has no meaning in the life of the poor people. So I was frustrated with the whole thing, that I have learned something which has no meaning for people. So I was kind of disowning everything that I have learned and saying that I wasted my time. I must see how I can make myself useful to people. So this is a new journey for me, to learn how to make myself useful in any way, in some way, to the people that I live with. And the university is surrounded by the village, several villages around the university, and extreme poor people live there. So I thought, why don't I go to the village every day and meet these people and stay with them, talk to them, see if I can be of some use to them. I don't know what use. I have to find out how I can be useful to them. So that's what brought me to the university, to the village. And I started learning about the village, about the people, and trying to see, it's not my educational thing. That's not what I was looking for. I was just trying to see how to make myself useful in some way, even for a little thing every day. So that's my ambition, that's my mission. And I would always look forward to see if something I can find to make myself useful in somebody's life or for that day. And I did lots of little things, and that brought me closer to the people. And then after months and months of doing that, I see how terrible things are happening in the village because of the loan sharking. Loan sharks lend money to the poor people and extract every single drop they have to make themselves better off by taking away money and the resources from the poor people, by giving very unreasonable conditionalities of their loans. So I see the victimization process very vividly, since I see the people every day. I know what's happening in the village. I hear the stories from the people who have been victimized. So one thought came to me: if I want to be useful to those people who are being victims of loan shark, I must find a way how to protect them from the loan shark. So I thought, how do we do that? I have no idea. I was thinking about it, and one idea came: why don't I lend them the money myself? Then they don't have to go to the loan shark. I thought that's a reasonable explanation to start. Why don't I lend the money? So I started lending money out of my own pocket. This money needed was very small amount, so that was not a problem. So this is how the whole thing began, and people loved it, and it became bigger and bigger. I became very excited about it, and that led me to the next step, and the next step. It grew bigger and bigger, and then I thought, in order to keep it going, I should give it the shape of a bank, so that I have some legal formalities of the bank and so on, by creating a bank. So that's another journey. Instead of me personally giving money, I create a bank and giving the money through the bank instead of just informally. So that led to the creation of a small bank for the village. That's why we called it Grameen Bank, or a village bank. So our intention was to serve the village. But I never knew that it will grow very fast, and grow from village to village, and became a nationwide bank, lending money to the poor people. And in the process, I challenged the whole banking system. I said, banking system is totally wrong. Banking system is the reason why poverty continues. And unless we fix the banking system, you cannot get the poor people out of the poverty and so on. So that campaign continued throughout my life, and continued that. I keep challenging whatever the things that we see going wrong is all because we design institutions the wrong way. And we have to see how to build those institutions the right way. And not only banking system, but many other institutions that we build, policies we build, theories that we build. That's the seeds of poverty lies. I keep saying that poverty is not created by the poor people. Poverty is created by the system that we build, institutions that we build. So institutions and the system contribute in creating the poverty. So until we change those things, poverty will not disappear. So my mission is to see how to change those policies, change those theories, and make those institutions designed so that it can happen. Today, because of the pandemic, this becomes more pressing, because everything is stopped. Poor people lost their income, lost their livelihood, lost their food. Millions of them, billions of them throughout the world. And still we don't know how far we have to go in this direction. And while this is going on, poor people are losing their income, losing their livelihood, getting pushed back to the poverty line and below the poverty line. People who are above the poverty line now pushed below the poverty line, and so on. So, so whatever little gain they had, now they are back again in the extreme poverty and so on. Not only in the region here in South Asia, but throughout the world, this is happening. And then during the same period, you keep noticing during the pandemic period, while billions of people are losing their income and becoming poorer and poorer, you see a handful of people gaining more and more wealth. During the same period, a handful of people, maybe all those billionaires and so on, not too many of them, gain more than $16 trillion during the same period. While people are losing money, they're gaining money. So the distance between the people and the wealth is becoming bigger and bigger. All the people of the world, 99% of the people of the world, are pushed at the bottom of the income scale. They are all lumped there at the bottom, 99% of the people. Whereas few people up in the sky, in the outer space, few people who are owning the 99% of the wealth. So the 99% of the wealth is in the sky, 99% of the people are on the down, at the ground level completely. So there's a big separation, segregation between the wealth and the people. And that distance between the people and the wealth gets wider and wider. And that is the cause of poverty, because we built a system which squeezes out every pinch of wealth and takes it to the rich people on the top. And even in a distress situation like pandemic, they are the gainers and the people at the bottom are the losers, and they continue to do that. So how do you fix it? How do you design it? That's where we come back to the university, like your university. That's where all the teaching that we have, all the learning that we have has to be accumulated by the young people, understood by the young people, so that they can go on, change the system and so on. But the way we do it, we kind of carry out the old system. repeat the old system and go out doing the same old thing so that the system continues to be the same and poverty continues to get worse and the wealth continues to get concentrated on the top. I said, that's a wrong system. So pandemic has shown us all those things vividly, how wrong the system is. When you look at the vaccine, this is another way to see how the real system is working. We have built a wall around the vaccine called the patent right. So we are protecting all those vaccines with the patent right. Millions of people are dying on the outside the wall because they cannot get to the vaccine. It's not the question of not being able to pay, simply doesn't exist. It's not available because world doesn't produce enough of vaccines. So only the rich countries can afford to, can get access to the vaccines. Many countries in the world don't have access. Entire continent of Africa, not even 1% of the population have been vaccinated today, while all the vaccines are going in the direction of the handful of rich countries and so on. So because we built the wall around the vaccine, we have been complaining, we have been demanding that vaccines should be made patent-free so that anybody can produce anywhere in the world. So the patent is a kind of wall that protects the vaccine right only for a handful of people, half a dozen pharmaceutical companies in the world. They are the one doing that, and they want to make bigger and bigger money. So it's not on the wall of the patent, actually it's a wall of the profit maximization. That's what killing millions of people on this planet. So we said we remove this wall, take this wall down so that the vaccine can be produced in every single country. It's possible, there's enough capacity to do that. So this is another very ugly case that we have seen during the pandemic. We're talking about the vaccine apartheid, reminding what was happening in the South Africa in those days of apartheid, segregating the people, black people from the white people and so on. Same people, this is the vaccine haves and vaccine have-nots. This is the world that we have right now, very vividly. So we need to redesign that system. That's where your role comes, young people's roles come. That's where the university roles come. And we have to create a new world to take us to a new direction. And that's where the new tools have to be developed. That's a challenge of the young people in the universities. What I keep telling people, that we have to build a world of 3 zeros. What are those 3 zeros? Zero net carbon emission. Global warming is going to kill us. You see that every day, but we don't do anything much for that, as if somebody has to fix it. No, not somebody has to. I have to fix it. You have to fix it. It's our world. So, and we are creating that global warming. So how do you do that? It's wrong thinking, wrong design of the business ideas and so on. So we have to redesign everything so that world can become zero net carbon emission world. So the first zero among the 3 zeros, first zero is your net zero carbon emission. And second zero is zero wealth concentration to end poverty once for all. Once we can remove this wealth concentration, instead of wealth running away from people, wealth should be coming towards people. Wealth and people should be living together, not segregated from each other. That's a wrong system, which takes wealth away from people. So we have to now redesign the system which will bring wealth to the people. So there's no distance between, there's a zero distance between people and the wealth. And that's the thing we can do. It's all question of designing, like an engineer designs a building and so on, designs a bridge. We have to design a system, economic system, where wealth comes to the people and people and wealth always together. So this is the challenge for the young people to make that happen. And the third zero is zero unemployment. Zero unemployment by unleashing the entrepreneurial ability of all of us. All human beings are entrepreneurs. But we are told, at the university, you'll hear it a lot, study hard, get a good grade, so that you get a good job, as if job is the ultimate of human being. I said, no, that's not the ultimate of human being. Ultimate of human being is to know yourself, what is inside of you. You are packed with unlimited creative capacity. So your job is to explore that creative capacity and learn about your own self, what you got, and use that creative capacity to make the world the way you want. This is your capacity to do that. And your young people have lots of that creative capacity. Today's young people are more powerful than the young people from previous generations because they have tremendous technology. So how to use this technology and change the world. So that's zero unemployment. And zero unemployment is very important because artificial intelligence is coming, you remember? And artificial intelligence will remove everybody from jobs. Human beings are not needed. Very soon, human beings will become garbage on this planet, useless being, because machines will do all the job. That's a wrong idea. That's a wrong theory. That's a wrong system. We have to get out of the way. Human beings should be bringing out their creative capacity, make this world a better place. So I said, instead of following the old path to go in the full old direction of suicidal path, we will be building a new path to go to a new direction. Old roads always take you to the old destination. So now, in order to go to the new destination is the destination of creating new 3.0 world. So we have to build new roads. That's the challenge that we have to take, build new roads to go to the new destination. I'll finish by just mentioning we launched a new program, which you may be interested. You can go to the website and look at 3.0 Club. Just type it out, 3.0 Club, and they'll explain to you. We are inviting all young people to form 3.0 clubs. Each club is consisting of 5 young people, just 5. 5 young people can get together to create a 3.0 club. What is the purpose of this club? Purpose of the club is to create a 3.0 world. 0 net carbon emission, 0 wealth concentration, 0 unemployment. These are the 3 zeros that we have. So if you are interested, if you fit into the age group that we have mentioned from 12 years to 35 years, please form yourself into 3.0 clubs and get the network of each other. You'll be doing work with each other. That's not, nobody outside is telling you what to do. All you have to do, this is your world. You have to fly this spaceship, whichever direction you want. You are in the cockpit. You are the pilot to design it. Design your flight plan where you want to go. And that's the direction we are talking about. Go into 3.0 direction, 3.0 club. So I'll stop here and let you ask questions and so on. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, to share your profound ideas with us. It's been indeed a pleasure to listen to your valuable thoughts. Now we have a few questions from our participants.
Good.
There is a question from Mr. Sadiq. What is the best approach to help self-help group women to help to train on the best available technology to increase their sales for their better income so that they can also be part of mainstream economy?
Yeah, this depends on what is the product, what you want to do. So, but it's not always the technology which will solve the problem. Sometimes it's just a management skill which solves the problem. It's a new idea how you do that. But technology is a very helpful thing, but technology can come into the picture. So what you do, you said mainstream market and so on. Here, not only we participate in the mainstream market, but at the same time you challenge it. If you become a kind of a feeder into the mainstream will remain mainstream. Today, we just talked about microcredit. The microcredit is not a mainstream. We have been doing it for the last 50 years, but we never made it to the mainstream. We are always at the footnote. That doesn't make us irrelevant. Simply system doesn't want to change itself. So we have to redesign the entire banking system. We said banking system should be redesigned to make it as a social business banking, so that those who are trying to reach out to the poor people, instead of this becoming a profit maximizing bank, they should be zero profit banks, so that you are not interested in making money by doing banking to the poor people. You're doing it to help them get out of the poverty that they have. Then the system changes. So we need a new law for that. Those things are not coming. So mainstream has to be looked with a grain of salt. It's not just the mainstream as it is. So while we do our own thing, at the same time we redesign the mainstream itself. It's a very important thing to do that. Otherwise you'll be sucked into the same old system because you're a tiny one and you are trying to solve the problem joining the mainstream, and mainstream sucks you up and you're finished. So you have to be very careful on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. We have another question from Professor Shankar Prasad. He asked, can we use gross national happiness instead of GDP in least developed countries, as it includes ethical values and good governance. The question is in reference to the rampant increase in corruption in some LDC and developing countries like India, Brazil, and Bangladesh.
Yeah, GDP definitely is not the measure of happiness of the people, because when you say economy is growing at certain percentage rate that we always quote that this is a sign of good health of an economy. I raised the question when you mentioned that number, the percentage, whose growth are you talking about? And I just mentioned during the pandemic, poor people are losing money, and it's the rich people who will make trillions of dollars. Yeah. So when we talk about the growth, it's the growth of the top people, not the growth of the poor people. So why do we be so interested in making rich people super rich? Is this the purpose of the economy? So why are we running after the growth rate? Just because some economists said the growth rate is the one that shows you how the economy is growing. Should the economy growing? Should the people be growing? Those are the basic questions. If you're looking for the growth of the people, you have to look for something else. It's not the growth of the super rich, it's the growth of the super poor. How the super poor are changing their life and so on. The system that we built is just works the completely reverse way that we would wish to happen. So we have to redesign the system. It's very clear that the GDP is not the kind of thing we'll be chasing. Rather, we'll be turning that around. Instead of GDP, we should be talking about the growth rate of the bottom 25% of the people. What is their growth rate? That's what we'll be chasing, not the growth rate of the top 1%. And that's what is dominating all our thoughts and all our thinking, how to make them richer. To make them richer is the growth rate. That's not our purpose. That's not the purpose of an economy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. There is another question from Deepankar. In India, the SHT movement is hijacked by government for vote bank policy. What are your views on it? How should we proceed about it?
Which one is that? Can you explain again?
SHG movement.
Self-help groups.
Oh, self-help group. Okay,
Yes.
sorry. Yeah. Well, government tried to bring microcredit to the poor people through the existing banking system. And I was always saying that that's not the way to do that, because it's a banking system which created the problem. So if you let the banking system to do the banking for the poor people, it will be just a little tiny kind of token activity for the bank. So you have to create exclusive bank for the people. And I give explanation by saying when people look at me or try to introduce me like you have done today, they usually introduce me as a banker to the poor. And Grameen Bank is introduced as a bank for the poor. I said, that's fine. I'm a banker to the poor. I'll take it because that's what I do. I lend money to the poor people. And bank, I created Grameen Bank, is a bank for the poor. Is Grameen Bank is recognized as a bank for the poor? My question is, how do you recognize other banks that exist in the world? You simply call them banks. I said, that's a wrong thing. If you call me bank for the poor, you should be calling them bank for the rich. Then we know who are they are. So there should not be any confusion between that. So it's not just giving tiny loan by a commercial bank to the poor people we're talking about the entire designing of the banking system so that this kind of ugly thing cannot go on and making people losing money by being in the economic sector, by being sucked up by some economic system where I try to participate as a worker, as a labor, as an employee. And I kind of devote myself to help rich people to get richer. That's my service. I said, that's the wrong thing. The economics taught us to become job seekers. Job is a kind of a new way of new format of an old slavery process. They give us some money and I work for him. I devote my life and so on. I said, that's the wrong system. We should be telling young people that you are entrepreneurs and be an entrepreneur. Take your route, you bring your creative capacity and change the world. So going back to the self-help groups, this is something that Government tried it out. I don't think that took very far, but whatever good that is there. But the important thing is to redesign the banking system so that they are devoted to do the work, the whole bank, not just tiny window in the conventional banks.
Thank you so much, sir.
Your
With the
model of-
permission,
your model of Grameen Kuta Bank in Bangalore is doing very well, bank for the poor, and it's doing very well in
Thank
Bangalore.
you. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that.
It's at 6,000 crore level they have reached Grameen Kuta. It's all your Professor Mohammed Yunus. And they have been effectively doing it for the poor, and poor is becoming better and better. Even if a vegetable vendor is there, he's able to earn 5 lakh rupees a year and pay his fees for his children. So your philosophy is working across the world.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to hear that.
Grameen Kuta, Bangalore.
Grameen Kuta, we're very good friends. We know Suresh, we know.
Yeah, it's purely
Binata.
Purely Mohammed Yunus model.
Yes, absolutely.
And it is doing well, and it is zero NPA. Their poor people are very honest in paying their loans.
Thank you. I'm glad. Thank you.
And every stamp is your stamp only in that bank.
Thank you.
thank you so much, sir. With your permission, can we take few more questions?
One more, maybe?
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Yeah.
We have a question from Dr. P. Periswamy. Even after the introduction of microfinance, poverty is not getting alleviated from the world. How to eradicate the poverty with the help of microfinance? Your inputs, please, sir.
Yeah. Microfinance is one challenge in the banking system, but the banking system is not changed. That's the point I was making. It is still, microcredit is a footnote. It's a tiny little thing. A banking system is a huge thing. Compared to that, microcredit is still tiny little thing. So you have to adopt it as a mainstream banking. Then you'll see the changes and so on. Microcredit looks after the financial aspect of it, one aspect of it. We have expanded it to the microcredit works at the credit part, the loan part. We have created venture capital fund, social business venture capital fund for the unemployed young people. We tell them that, look, you don't have to look for a job. You tell yourself, I'm not a job seeker. I'm a job creator. I'm an entrepreneur. So it's a good thing to say that I'm an entrepreneur. But to be an entrepreneur, you need money to invest, to start where you work and so on. No bank will give you any money. So what we did, we created this social business venture capital fund and asked the unemployed young people in Bangladesh, come with business idea and we'll invest in your business and put all our equity in your business. And we'll be a partner. So it's your business and we'll be the financier for that. And you make it successful and you return the money that we gave you. Because we are a social business, we are not interested in your profit. Profit stays with you. All we want to get our money back so that we can give it to somebody else. So that idea clicked and is expanding. Now we have more than 75,000 young people, unemployed young people who are running businesses with the venture capital fund, social business venture capital fund. We said, we are social business. We are not interested in making money out of you, but you make money to make sure that you be prosperous, you make a successful businessman and so on. And young people discovered that. I said, your mother has done that. Illiterate mother in the village, she took small money, $20, $50, $100, and started business. And that's where the whole microcredit is all about. Now you, with education and so on, can do much better with the bigger ventures and so on. And we give you equity. So not only microcredit gives a credit, now we had another branch providing equity. So you need a diversified system, bringing financial services to the poor people to change things. So finance is one, but there are many other things. That's the issue that I was mentioning. Thank you.
2025, we are declaring 10 university job seekers need not apply. Only those who want to become entrepreneurs will study with us.
Good. Thank you. That's a
we
good
are already declared 2025. No job seekers will be given admission.
Absolutely. That's a good one. That's a good one. I'm glad to hear that.
And I'll speak with you and we'll work out 1 million entrepreneurs.
We'll work out. Definitely we'll work out something important.